6 months ago, I sowed 2 types of onions in this raised garden bed. An Australian brown onion around the outside and a Spanish white onion in the 2 centre oval tracks. I didn't space them out correctly. I didn't thin them out. I didn't harvest them on time. I didn't even weed them. So in this video, I'm going to show you what happened, and be warned, because it might just make your eyes water. Let's get into it. G'day, I'm Mark from Self Sufficient Me, and growing onions can be hard work because of the sparse way they grow, making it easy for weeds to integrate through the crop. Growing them from seed can take a long time, which is a challenge for some gardeners, and apparently if you don't space out your crop correctly, by the book, you'll end up with tiny, useless onions. Or will you? I started sowing this crop in June during our subtropical winter, and I ended up using every seed in both packets with the intention of not thinning them out. In other words, I wanted to break the rules again and crowd grow them. After the first 4 weeks or so, I could see the germination was excellent, so the crowd growing experiment was off to a good start. By 3 months, the plants were still going strong and most were growing at a similar rate to each other. I kept the water up during our mid-spring through October because it was characteristically dry. But after that, this experiment turned into unintentional neglect due to the holiday season and constant early summer storms, which made it uncomfortable to be out in the garden. I didn't need to water, so I overlooked regular weeding, and I didn't harvest the onions on time because I couldn't find the time. Anyway, let's fast forward to yesterday when I finally got around to pulling the onions before it started raining again. I'm going to try and be optimistic and hopefully utilize the most of this box. And I'll obviously de-weed as I'm going through. Now, here goes nothing. White and brown. A decent size. It's not a bad start, and they're not rotten, which is a real surprise considering all this humidity and rain. So they've grown in clumps because I never spaced them out. I never thinned these out. I just left them grow as they wanted. So, you know, you're going to get what I expected is a lot of small ones, but a lot of small ones, say perhaps more small ones than a bunch of big ones, can be the same amount, and you can do a lot of things with small onions. I mean, you can pickle them for a start. You can use just what you need. You don't have to cut on one big onion if you just want a few slices on a sandwich or something. So that's the idea of why I wanted to crowd grow these onions and see how it went. These have already died off, but they've been sitting in the elements and they're practically cured. Look at that. That is cured. That can go straight into the pantry. A beautiful, beautiful big white Spanish onion. Gorgeous. Some good sized onions. Seems like the white onions have done a lot better to outgrow each other than the brown ones. I'm really impressed. This is heaps. I mean, I shouldn't have left it so long. That was wrong, but what's done is done. I'm still getting a good harvest. Just goes to show how resilient these two particular varieties of onions are. I'm definitely going to grow them again. And all this extra weeds and grass is helping my mud patch here, making it easier for me to walk on. I really have to do something about this. I can't just keep going on with this summer after summer. We need to sort it out and put some real good hard standing in here. Every clump of grass there's a few onions with it. Still throwing away the odd rotten one, but the majority are great. I think a lot of the onions up this northern end here, I think they did a little bit better. They cured. They mustn't have, maybe they just weren't as moist up that end, or maybe they got more sun. They just cured in situ. They just died off and cured on their own. They didn't have to be pulled up. Well, here we go. Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's not too bad for a stuff up, is it? I'll put these on my onion rack to dry. What I'll do is I'll leave these to dry out in the afternoon sun just a little bit, and then I'll put them in the cool dry place just to dry out properly and die off and cure. Most of these are cured anyway, so I might even go through and sort some of them out that are cured enough, put them in the pantry. Well, there you go. This crowd growing method really showed me a few things. A, that it works. You can crowd grow. Yes, you're not going to get a whole heap of big large onions, but you're going to get still a very large crop in one raised garden bed, as you could see. But having said that, there's still a lot of quite large, at least medium-sized onions here that I'm really impressed with. Forget that I harvested them late and all that. You know, if I would have harvested them on time, they probably would have been even better, who knows, but that's all said and done. I'm really impressed with how close they grew together and how large they came out. And like I said, the aim was to crowd grow them. It's no fuss. I don't have to thin them out. I don't have to think about them, and as you could see, I didn't even weed them. And they turned out way beyond my expectations. I am very, very happy with this harvest. I'll be pickling them, I'll be preserving them, we'll be eating them in all sorts of ways. Stir fries, pastas, cubing them up, freezing them. Certainly happy with that. And I hope you are too. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big oniony, crowded, growed thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now. Cheers.